Talaga expected namin na to, no, for the victims, for the pretrial chamber to reiterate that it has jurisdiction. Ang pagbalik natin is a strong signal to the international community that we actually respect and actually implore international law. Sana maging pamaskong handog na po ito na within this year 2025 magkaroon po ng confirmation of charges.
Hi, magandang umaga uli mga kababayan. Ito po ulit si Kaloy Conde para sa isa na namang episode ng ating podcast, Open Talk. At ngayon, kasama na naman natin si Attorney Gilbert Andres. Siya ang Executive Director ng Center for International Law at siya ang isa sa iilang mga abogado na nagre-represent sa mga biktima ng drug war sa ICC sa The Hague. Welcome again, Attorney.
Oh, greetings, Kaloy, and to all your viewers. Great to be back again.
Yes, great indeed. And kumusta ang ano natin sa Europa lately? I understand nasa Pilipinas ka, but babalik ka uli and sabak na naman.
Oo, okay naman, Kaloy. Oo, sabak na naman. Alam mo, Kaloy, to be frank, magaganda yung lugar sa Europe, At hindi ganun challenging dito sa Metro Manila, but I have to be very candid. There's no place like home.
Of course, of course. Ganyan naman talaga yan. I can only commiserate with you, attorney, kasi mga ilang buwan ka na dyan yata sa The Hague, monitoring all of this, and once in a while bumabalik ka dito sa atin, pero yeah, there's no place like home. Of course, yan din yung mga hangad ng mga Dutertes for their father, for their patriarch, right? Kaya pag-uusapan natin yan ngayon, ano? So the ICC came out with a decision just recently, finally affirming that they have jurisdiction over the case of the former President Rodrigo Duterte. Can you walk us through what happened and what does this decision mean?
Oo. Actually, Kaloy, talaga expected namin na to, no, for the victims, for the pretrial chamber to reiterate that it has jurisdiction. Why? Because the very focal point is Article 127. It's the article, it's the second to the last article ng Rome Statute, and it's the article on withdrawal. Ironically, it has two paragraphs. The first paragraph is about withdrawal, which was invoked by the Philippines when it withdrew from the Rome Statute, even without Senate concurrence, but that's a different matter.
Mm-hmm.
But the second paragraph is the most important paragraph because it tells us about the effects of withdrawal. And I want to quote it verbatim, Kaloy,
Sige po.
for elucidation of our audience. It says here, this withdrawal shall not affect any cooperation with the court in connection with criminal investigations and proceedings in relation to which the withdrawing state had a duty to cooperate and which were commenced prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective, nor shall it prejudice in any way the continued consideration of any matter which was already under consideration by the court prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective. I'm quoting that because that was really at the heart ng decision ng pretrial chamber saying that it has jurisdiction over this case.
Yeah, malinaw naman no na sinasabi nga niya na kahit mag-withdraw ka may jurisdiction pa rin at malinaw din doon sa article na yan na ewan ko lang kung sineryoso ng mga tao ni Presidente Duterte yan na nag-withdraw sila na meron pa rin yung ganyang existing ganyang provision ng Rome Statute na yayari pa rin sa kanila kalaunan. Tingin mo yung move na yun nila to withdraw as just political lang talaga or did they study it properly at hindi na nakita yung implication nito?
Oh, I think it's really just political, Kaloy, Kasi it's so ironic, I think February 8, 2018, yung announcement ni Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda.
Mm-hmm.
May mag-open ng preliminary examination ng ICC. And it was a very public pronouncement, And critical yon because sabi nga ng pretrial chamber, yung preliminary examination ng Office of the Prosecutor happened before the withdrawal and before the withdrawal became effective.
Mhm.
Kaso, alam naman natin, si Mr. Rodrigo Duterte, mukhang feeling niya ay mapupuntorya siya, kaya nag-withdraw po siya kahit na wala pong Senate concurrence. At yon diniposito nung I think March 17, 2018 at became effective 1 year later, which is March 17, 2019. Ngunit ang isang rason nga Kaloy, bakit sabi ng pretrial chamber ay may jurisdiction? Kasi yung object and purpose, ano bang object and purpose ng ICC Rome Statute? To stop impunity
Mhm.
against international crimes. Kasi ang gagawin lang ng mga bansa na miyembro ng Rome Statute, edi kung alam nilang may investigation or preliminary examination na edi we withdraw
Withdraw.
lang sila, no? Ngunit it does not actually divest the ICC of jurisdiction. Kasi yun nga, yung object and purpose. Kaya yung ginawa ni Mr. Duterte, which is, in hindsight, it's really to protect himself, it does not protect himself.
Yeah.
Why? Kasi yung object and purpose, which is to stop impunity against international crimes.
It makes you wonder, attorney, and this, I think this is kind of an peripheral issue here. Makes you wonder whether, kasi marami pa namang hindi nag-ratify ng Rome Statute ng country. Makes you wonder whether those countries who haven't signed and ratified Rome Statute will now think twice about signing it because of the clarity of this decision.
Oh, I think it's really based on principles and norms that they should sign and ratify. In fact, I call on the big powers, like China, like the United States of America, and even Russia,
Mhm.
na talagang this is a legacy actually ng Nuremberg trials,
Yes.
ICC Rome Statute. So I hope they will be consistent with the Nuremberg principles na yung allies naman actually, di ba? Yung nag-set up.
Yeah. Another question related to this, attorney, before we go into the smaller details of the decision. Does this support yung clamor ng marami dito sa atin ng mga rights advocates and every families of victims na bumalik na tayo sa ICC kasi whether we like it or not, covered, andito na tayo eh. At saka itong mga ginawa ni Mr. Duterte, whether he likes it or not, talagang nasa jurisdiction pa rin nila. So might as well, bumalik na rin tayo. And do you think this will be an incentive or kind of an encouragement sa Marcos administration to do that?
Dalawang sagot. Una, when it comes to jurisdiction as of now, hindi siya issue o hindi na siya question. At yung cooperation na matagal na po naming sinasabi na mayroon pa rin obligasyon to cooperate, hindi rin siya issue whether or not bumalik tayo or hindi. Pero number two, ang pagbalik natin is a strong signal to the international community that we actually respect and actually implore international law. At bakit mahalagang signal to? Because remember, Kaloy, we have a dispute with the big powers sa South China Sea.
Yeah.
And we're always invoking international law, the rules-based international legal order. At magiging consistent po tayo sa position natin na adherence to international law kung pati po ang Rome Statute, samahan po natin ulit.
Yeah.
Maging state party po ulit tayo. Kaya this is a call and a challenge also to the Marcos Jr. administration na maging consistent tayo sa ating call for a respect for the rule of law and international legal-based order.
Hindi ka pwedeng mag-cherry pick ng kung ano yung ganun-ganun ka lang kung anong tingin mo.
Ayan.
International law, international human rights law, lagi nating sinasabi, states need to be consistent about these things. If it involves the South China Sea issue, your position is strengthened if you are also consistent on other issues such as this one with the ICC and with former president facing the ICC. Now, balik tayo dun sa ruling, Attorney Gilbert. Kasi For the longest time, mula nung kinasuhan ng ICC si Mr. Duterte, lagi itong inuulit-ulit lagi ng mga, kahit ng mga batikan pa niyang mga abogado, of course, propaganda lang nila, na walang jurisdiction ng ICC kasi nag-withdraw na tayo. Ang daming ang dami nating nawaldas na laway at panahon defending the position na hindi, may jurisdiction pa rin tayo. Sa tingin mo, ano nito? Ano ang value nitong decision na to dun sa mga taong hanggang ngayon ay nag-i-insist pa rin na walang jurisdiction ng ICC? I mean, obviously, sampal sa kanila to, no? Lalo na kung titingnan natin na 1-2 punch na sila na ang ICC against sa mga Dutertes dito. Ang una nga, yung ruling nga niya before this, yung tungkol sa tawag dito sa
Interim release.
interim release. Tapos ito pa
2
ngayon, no?
Fridays before.
Hmm. Tingin mo, anong tingin mo ang magiging ano nito sa mga Duterte supporters or sa mga legal minds niya about this? I'm sure they will still invoke na wala pa rin jurisdiction ng ICC.
Siguro dalawang punto, Kaloy. Una, I hope that they will have a change of mind. Na wag magkaroon ng cognitive dissonance. That they should just look at the text of the Rome Statute. They should even study it if they're lawyers. Kasi we all need to study, di ba? At tingnan talaga nila yung Article 127, Paragraph 2. At in fact, yung pinaka dapat tingnan ng any lawyer for that matter is that any matter which was already under consideration by the court prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective. At yung any matter na yon, plain English lang po, that includes yung preliminary examination na inopen po ni then prosecutor Fatu Bensouda on February 2018. Kaya klarong-klaro po, yan po ay ginawa po ng ICC prosecutor bago po nag-withdraw at bago po naging effective ang withdrawal.
Yeah.
Secondly, Kaloy, yung effect nito hindi lang sa Pilipinas. Ang effect nito ay any state that withdraws, unfortunately, from the Rome Statute. It means to say that preliminary examination is any matter under consideration. Kaya wag na po nilang isipin na mag-withdraw po kasi wala po siyang effect doon po sa mga international crimes na nangyari po basta po nagkaroon ng preliminary examination. Kaya ang effect lang talaga, Kaloy, ng withdrawal of any state, kasi 1 year after pa, yung date of effectivity, yun lang. From that date on, kunwari sa Pilipinas, March 17, 2019 onwards, any international crimes that happen in the Philippines, wala po sa jurisdiction ng ICC. Pero any international crimes that happen during the temporal period, yung time period ng effectivity ng Rome Statute, at nagkaroon po ng preliminary examination bago po ng effectivity ng withdrawal, talagang nasa jurisdiction pa rin po ng ICC. Kaya no space for impunity.
Yeah. Ito ang medyo hindi laging natatalakay, attorney, yung relevance ng kaso nito ni Mr. Duterte to international law in general. Na kasi nga sabi mismo ng ICC, itong kaso ni Mr. Duterte ang the only major case in the court right now. I mean, marami pang iba, but major nga, di ba? And yun nga, yung napaliwanag mo, yung implication na to for international justice is medyo malaki. I mean, hindi medyo, malaki talaga. Your point being na kung mayroong bansa na gusto mag-withdraw, magdadalawang isip na tungkol dito, no? In that sense, nakaka-contribute ang kaso na to for the promotion of international justice in some ways, right?
Yes, Kaloy, you're right on that because number one, actually the case against Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte is the first non-African na case before the ICC na umuusad. Bakit? Because number two, ang dami pong standing arrest warrants against kay Vladimir Putin ng Russia, against kay Benjamin Netanyahu ng Israel. Pero ito lang po yung na-implement po na arrest warrant in the recent years po against kay Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte. And I have to say this also, credit to the cooperation of the Philippine government
Mhm.
because we have already been saying that before pa, Kaloy, ano, na kahit nag-withdraw tayo, meron pa ring residual obligation, may natitirang obligation pa rin ng Pilipinas to cooperate with the ICC. Kaya this is actually a major case for international criminal justice.
Yeah. On practical matters, attorney, sa kaso ni Mr. Duterte dyan, so ito na, medyo nawawalan na yung mga hadlang sa kaso. So, can we expect the case now to really move forward post-haste, or anong tingin mong magiging timeline nito? Kasi ang hinihintay ng lahat, yun nga, yung reading of, yung confirmation of charges, di ba? Which we still do not know kung kailan mangyayari.
Oo. So, okay, that's a good question, Kaloy. Ano, siguro ito yung approximate timeline, ano? Kasi nagpalabas din ng order, ano, yung pretrial chamber na it will form, ano, a three-person panel of experts, o na magsuri kay Mr. Duterte. At yan na po yung pinaka-final report. Kung ano man pong report ang kanilang maproduce ng three-person panel na to, yan na po yung final. At magkakaroon po ng comment or reply yung Office of the Prosecutor as well as the Office of the Public Counsel for Victims, representing for now yung victims. Ang deadline po nila ay November 5. Kaya po, yan po yung ating approximate timeline sa pagsusuri kay Mr. Duterte. And after that, i-decide ano, ng pre-trial chamber yung fitness to stand trial. Kasi fitness to stand trial, it's a legal term po, hindi po siya medical term. Kasi nasa Rome Statute po yan. So it's only the pre-trial chamber who will determine yung issue na yon. And then after that, and we really hope sa victims ano na ma-affirm at ma-confirm na fit to stand trial nga si Mr. Duterte, magsischedule na rin po ng confirmation of charges. Now, when will that be? It's really difficult to say. Oh, but for the part of the victims of the Duterte war on drugs, we really hope na within this year 2025, Kaloy, ano? In fact, sinasabi ko palagi sa interview, sana maging pamaskong handog na po ito na within this year 2025 magkaroon po ng confirmation of charges.
Well, that's an excellent point, attorney, about, yung mga biktima ng drug war, ay talagang umaasa dito at sana nga magkaroon na sila ng magandang balita in the coming weeks or months. I think we will leave it at that, Attorney Gilbert Andres, Executive Director ng Center for International Law and one of the lawyers who represent drug war victims in The Hague. Maraming salamat, Attorney Gilbert, at mabuhay kayo.
Maraming salamat, Kaloy, at mabuhay po tayong lahat.